Hey guys, it's good to have you for the T11 podcast. I really do appreciate you. And I really do appreciate the comments and the views and the shares and the likes and all that stuff of my very last show, my 16 years of hell or whatever I'm calling it. I forget what I even call it. But the bottom line is I have found my power back after 16 years. If you want to go back and listen to that show to maybe get a little caught up, you can. But this is where I'm going to get into the meat and the potatoes and all the scary stuff. All the stuff that's going to make me look like a fool, that's going to make me sound like a woo-woo kind of person. But it's also going to make me feel strong. And hopefully it's going to make you feel strong as well. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, it's good to have you here. Thank you for being here. Those of you that are podcasting, thank you so much for taking the time to download this and stick this stuff in your ear. Okay, let me take a deep breath because this is going to be interesting today. It's really cool because I've heard from a lot of friends going, man, I remember when you were just making things happen. We would even question each other saying, how is this guy doing it? Seemingly no talent, nothing going on. Has really made some things happen. It's truly because I believe and I know these things I'm about to tell you to be true. It might get a little weird around here. It might get a little spacey because when I get started, I tend to lose a little bit of focus, so I'm going to try to keep things in focus for you a little better, okay? The series is going to require you to open up your mind. It's going to require you to trust me, okay? You need to know that everything I'm about to tell you is 100% true. It's real, okay? Even though at times you're probably going to question it, but this is the absolute truth. I got nothing to hide here. I'm not making stuff up. This isn't going to turn into some movie or anything like that. This is the real shit that's happened to me that made me make all of my dreams come true. And then when they came true, I forgot all about how it worked. I gave up. I screwed up. Damn it. Anyway, don't get me started on this. I'll start getting mad and I'll start crying and stuff. This series, and I don't know how many long or how many episodes it's going to be. I'm not going to take too much time of your life, but I'm hoping that it's going to help you out. It's going to require me, though, to be brave enough to tell you some of this stuff that I know to be true and I've known to be true for most of my life. I'll also need to remind myself that some shit talking is going to take place. It's always going to come my way, and I'm absolutely cool with it. It's nothing that I haven't heard before. I know the dudes are going to be, dude, you big pussy, you big this, you big that. But you know what? That's fine. Okay. What people think of me or anybody who's pouring their heart out or throwing stuff out there or trying to do anything special in life, you know what? It's not my problem. Okay. It's not my problem. They're going to shit on you no matter what. They're just not ready to be happy yet. That's the way I look at it. And guess what? I bet some of those people will come back and go, you know what? My life's shit. I remember this podcast where this guy was, a regular dude. All of a sudden he turned into not be a regular dude. And I'm going to go back and listen to that, okay? You'll get there if you hit rock bottom like I have been. I'm telling you, even though I've been able to struggle a job and a career and everything else, and a relationships and everything else, I just have not been the best I could be. And I know it. And I've struggled, and I've had moments of success. I have had moments where, I'm able to pull it off, but it's tough. It's been tough. And this series that I'm about to do, it's not for anybody. But I think to start, you just got to start at the beginning, right? You were born. And I'm not going to get all of this, but even though I'm not a big fan of kids, I can acknowledge that the process of creating a life is, if you really look at it, is pretty miraculous. Life is created, and then another life creates another life, and so on and so on and so on. To me, that's pretty damn miraculous. I don't like kids, but I can acknowledge that stuff. Listen, I know there's also science that explains how the whole thing really works. I'm not one of those crazy fuckers, but it's pretty cool to know how the whole thing works. It really is. I like to think, and this is really silly because I didn't have the greatest relationship with my mom. She died at an early age, but there's times that I really do miss her. And some of the things she said in my life has really affected me, which we're going to get into a little bit later on this show. But I like to think that my belly button is kind of part of my mom. I know the medical field is going to say, that's not actually true, you moron. It forms the 5th week of development, and it isn't really connected to the mother's circulatory system. Blah, 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 blah. Listen, I know there's science, but there's also, to me, things can be miraculous. You got to believe in some miracles. You have to wake up every day knowing that something great can frickin' happen at any moment to you. Something horrible can too, but so can something great. I just know that we're born, they snip the cord that's connected to your mom. They tie it off like you're at a calf at a rodeo, and then you're on your way. See you go, little fucker. You're on your own. I just know that part of it. Okay. But for me, I choose it as my closest connection to my mom. And it makes me feel good for some reason. Like it was part of a miracle, not like I'm connected to my mom. I miss my mommy. It's like, okay, things are pretty miraculous. And my point is all kinds of things are miraculous to me. Okay. We came about in an amazing chain of events, some miraculous, some scientific. It's an amazing chain of events. Some miraculous stuff happened to bring us to who we are right this second. So why shouldn't life be amazing anymore? Why would it be any less miraculous once you're born? Okay. That's just one of the little thoughts I have. Let's skip ahead a little bit, okay, to growing up. Your parents keep you alive until you develop enough to make your own decisions, okay? That's when the shit gets really fun. It really does. We've established here that I'm absolutely no doctor, and I don't understand all the biological bullshit by any means. But what I do know without a doubt is our parents did have some sort of say in the way we believe things, our belief system. We were heavily influenced by our parents, our aunts and our uncles, people we looked up to. We were heavily influenced, okay? Some of it good, some of it bad, but it's the bad shit we need to deal with. The stuff that really isn't in our heart, who tells us who we are, because we kind of know who we are. And when somebody challenges, we go, wait a minute, that's not who I am. That's not that's not right. It doesn't feel right to me, even though we inherit a lot of our parents' beliefs and fears. We definitely did. If your dad hated snakes, chances are you weren't a big fan of snakes or something like that either. You put in your own examples here. If your mom was afraid to fly, you probably questioned it too until you either learned more about it or you just hang on to some of that shit. You hang on to some of their fears and their belief systems and things like that because it makes sense to you. But it doesn't have to make sense to you. You do not need to have any of your peers or any of your the people that grew up's fears and beliefs, but we hang on to those things. How many people do we know or do you know, and you might even be one of them, or let's just talk about politics for just 1 second. You're probably a Democrat or a Republican because your parents were. You probably were. That's what you grew up with. Okay. So there's a lot of things that really heavily influenced and shaped us who we were before we even knew we were being shaped, before we even knew we had a freaking decision here. Okay. It's tough. On the flip side, though, if you saw your dad working hard, there's an upside of this. If you saw your dad working hard, you probably have a good work ethic. If your parents were spiritual, you probably have some sort of spiritual base in you, some sort of belief system there already that gives you strength. There's some positive stuff here, but hopefully, bottom line is they taught you the difference between right and wrong, how to treat others with respect. These are all examples of, and very powerful reminders of how easily your mind and your heart and everything about you was programmed before you even fucking started. Before you even got out of the starting gates, you were hanging on to these fears, these beliefs, some of these other things that you saw that you admired. And man, it's crazy. But luckily I was very lucky. I learned at an early age, and I don't know exactly how I learned it, But I learned at an early age that I can program my own mind to the life that I wanted and believe that I deserved. I just knew this. I just knew that I'm here alone, man. I got people who believe in me and love me and everything else. We all do, but we're here alone. We really are. We're experiencing this shit on our own. Whether we're around, we're in a deep relationship like I am right now with Sherry, we're coming up on our 31st wedding anniversary, but I'm alone, man. And it's not a lonely feeling, but I'm doing this shit. This is my life. She doesn't have to deal with if I have a high blood pressure or anything. I'm alone, and we are alone. And I overheard some of my aunts and uncles, and I've talked about this before, but I think it's fair to mention again here to prove these points. I overheard my aunts and uncles saying some not so nice things about my immediate family. We didn't have money, but not because my parents weren't smart or they had a poor work ethic or anything like that. My dad was really, really funny. He was really talented. He was a handsome man. And when around my age of 10, things got really weird. The shit hit the fan. He got really sick and he couldn't work. He had rheumatoid arthritis. He had 2 new knees, 2 new wrists, 2 new hips. All kinds of stuff happened in his life. And it affected me and my siblings in different ways. I can't speak for them, my brothers and sisters, because, I was the baby. And I was the baby by a long shot. And we had whole different experiences. We really did. They had a whole different growing up with them, and I had a whole different growing up, and we all had our own issues and our own stuff, okay? But they were basically out of the house when all the illness started. But like I said, they had their own stuff to deal with when it comes to my parents. I remember hearing one of my uncles saying something that really hurt me. And it hurt me because I knew better. I knew this wasn't the truth because I knew my family. I knew who I was. I knew who they were, but it really changed my life. This pain really changed my life. And it could have gone 2 ways. James isn't my given name. Okay. It's not my given last name. It's something else. It's not a secret. I mean, you could easily find it. I just don't say it because of this exact moment I'm going to tell you about. It's not like I hate it or anything like that. It's just a part of me creating the life that I want to create. My uncle said that my family's name would never amount to anything. Even right now, it bothers me. Now, I guess I could have made the decision right there to use that because this anger that I'm feeling right now, but I'm also feeling like crying. I could have used that as motivation to prove him wrong, but I didn't do that. I chose not to live up to his and what I'm sure were other people's perception of my family was. I chose not to live up to that perception. And I didn't want to carry the burden of the last name. For some reason, that name thing stuck with me, and I don't know why, but I didn't want to disrespect my family because I love my family, and I knew how powerful they were. But I changed my last name to James, and it was my dad's first name. James is my dad's first name. So, I didn't want to totally go, I can't be that because you guys are horrible. I didn't want that. I was stuck in this position of knowing that I could create this life I wanted to if I just changed a few things about myself, if I just changed a few beliefs about myself. I knew that I could do this. The decision I made was, let's be honest, it was basically out of fear. It was basically out of ego. And it was also the easiest way to do things to me. But it turned out to be one of the absolute most powerful things I've ever done for myself. Let me explain. It made me realize that I didn't have to be pigeonholed into how others may perceive me, and my world opened up hugely. My world opened up like you wouldn't believe when it just made me feel so powerful. Oh, wait a minute. Not only could I change my name, I could be exactly who I want to be. I apply this right now in every single aspect of my life. I took this kid right now that you're looking at with a certain amount of success. I took this kid who was super shy. afraid of everything. I was afraid of dogs. I was afraid of planes, and I turned him into this guy who I truly, in my heart, always knew I was and who I wanted to be. I wanted others to see me this way. So I created this freaking guy. This is the guy you're seeing now. Okay. Somebody happy, somebody's funny, somebody who knows that he's in control, total control of his entire life, his entire destiny. And maybe you meet some other people along the line who feel the same way. My life has been littered with people who feel this way, and I love you for being part of my people, okay? And luckily, like I said early on, I knew the difference between right and wrong. That was a good thing, thanks to my mother and father. My first choice has always been to do the right thing. Sometimes I got scared. Sometimes I couldn't pull the right thing off. Sometimes doing the right thing is way harder than doing the wrong thing. And, sometimes I chose to take the easy way out. And I think that a lot of us do this. But over the years, I'll tell you now, doing the right thing has become so much easier for me. Making the wrong decision made me really doubt myself at an early age. When I look back, all the wrong decisions I made just made me realize, am I ready for this? Can I do this? Maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew. Doubting yourself it's a shitty feeling. It will destroy your life if you don't take the time to recognize exactly where this doubt is coming from. It will crush your soul. At the very least, it'll set you back quite a few years. In my case, the last 16 frickin' years. Doubt affects every single area of your life. If you're overweight, it's usually because you doubt you can't change it. You can't do whatever it takes to make things happen. It's a horrible example, but it's the first thing that came to mind. Okay. Doubting yourself when it comes to your work or personal relationships. You're never going to go forward with that when you're doubting yourself the whole time. That doubt in your heart and in your soul and in your mind, it doesn't show people who you truly are. It doesn't make you shine. It just makes you look insecure, makes you look scared. Nobody fun to hang out with. That's bullshit. Doubting you're not smart enough and so on and so on. And all of this stuff makes you argue for all of your limitations. I don't think I could do it. I didn't go to college. That's bullshit. Learn a trade, learn whatever it is. Be the best you can be at whatever it is you love, man. And it's easier to doubt that stuff. It's easier to make excuses. I will admit it that much, that way you don't have to take responsibility. People will see your vulnerable side. Oh boy, he's really trying too hard over there. Nobody wants to look like they're weak, but doubt makes you look weak. It just does. Doubting yourself is the only reason you do not have what you want. I want to say that one more time, because I really believe this. Doubting yourself is the only reason you don't have the life you want. The only way I've been able to beat this is to first be mindful that I'm doubting myself. When I catch myself making excuses, usually that's when you're having doubts. Oh, well, I can't do this because of this. That's an old doubt thing. Okay. And that comes up in my mind all the time. And I just say, where the fuck did that come from? Time to get rid of that action. If you continue to doubt yourself, you're basically going in the opposite direction than the universe wants you to go, or if you believe in God, that God wants you to go, or if you believe in yourself, that you want you to go. It's just doing that. And the reason why I'm glad that I didn't take the I'll show you route when it came to the name change is because, and this is where it gets a little weird here, because I know that when somebody tells you you can't have something or you can't be what you want to be, a lot of people go out there and they try to force it to happen. Oh yeah, I'll show you, you motherfucker. This world is full of people like that. The I show you crowd, I'll show you. And on the surface, they did it. They're financially successful. Their appearance looks like they got the car, they got the job, they got the relationship, they're going on vacations. But guess what? those people are still fucking miserable. What happened, and this is what I hope you pay attention here, what happened is that they weren't the ones who visualized their life first. Their desire didn't come from their heart or God or the universe. It came from some asshole saying, hey, I challenge you, man. You can't do this. You can't do that. No, nobody like you could do that type of stuff. It didn't come from their heart or soul. It came from some dickhead telling them they can't do it. When your desires come from a good place, a place of love, a place of being centered, you're going to keep it. And you're going to keep it a long time. And chances are you're going to be much more happier. You're going to be much more fulfilled because it's real. It's the real you. It's not you doing something for somebody else. And it's the truest meanings of one of the cheesiest fucking sayings I hate out there. It's the truest form of following your bliss. My last show, what did I call it? Like 16 years of hell. It's painfully true. It's been 16 years of me trying to be something for somebody else. You name it. My peers, other people, employers, my industry. It's been tough. And that's where I went wrong, man. I simply forgot what my parents told me when I was really little. My dad told me that there was a hell. My dad was this Catholic guy, Irish Catholic dude. My mom was more of a woo-woo-y kind of person. My dad told me that there was a hell. My mom told me there was no such thing as hell. So here I am in the middle going, what do I believe? So I chose to believe her because hell sounds scary as shit. That sounds really scary. So I don't believe that there's a hell. I just don't. And that was one of the earliest decisions I think I made when I was caught between my mother and father that served me very well. And it's something I forgot for the last 16 years. In my eyes, in my heart, in my soul, the opposite of hell is heaven. And when I'm doing some things that I love and I'm doing when I'm being the person, I'm getting too excited here, so I'm stumbling over my words. Let me slow down here. Okay. When I'm doing the stuff that I love, it feels to me like heaven. It really does. So I'm back to following my heart again. I'm back to following my soul again. I'm back to following what maybe God intended for me, what the universe has intended for me. It's really, really, really been a very moving experience lately. And ever since I let it happen, the dude who made all these impossible things, the guy that I talked about earlier, where my friends and family are like, how the hell is this guy making things happen? I'm back again. I am back again. And now all the options are starting to pour in for me. All of the love is starting to pour in for me. I'm meeting more and more people. I'm having phone calls with people who want to collaborate out of the blue. I cannot tell you the shift that has taken in my place, in my direction. It's unbelievable just for this one little thing. All right. Well, thank you for spending the time with me right now. I really appreciate it. If you like this, share it and all that kind of bullshit and all that kind of stuff. But I hope this is helping you. There's much more I want to tell you. Okay. So I'm going to be back with episode number 3 of this whole thing, how to get your power back, because it's back. And these little adjustments that I'm making in my life, I'm hoping they're going to help you out as well. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. Have a great freaking day, guys. Love you.